Welcome into today's show. You're watching the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. And on today's show, we're talking about a little bit of a gift the Baltimore Ravens just got from the Miami Dolphins. Makes me want to put the praise hands up, say hallelujah. I'll get it to you very, very quickly. But before we get into that and I reveal what that is, if you want the Ravens to make a signing in upcoming NFL free agency, go ahead and like the video, okay? The Ravens made a splash last offseason signing Derrick Henry. Do you want something similar? Do you want something to push this team over the top? If so, make sure to send a message. Show me, show the entire front office by hitting that thumbs up button. So this news comes from late last week. Miami Dolphins tweeted this out. Roster moves. We have released cornerback Kendall Fuller, running back Raheem Mostert, and tight end Durham Smythe. We're going to talk about the releasing of cornerback Kendall Fuller because I truly believe that this could be a gift for the Baltimore Ravens. And I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there right now and thinking to yourself and maybe even saying out loud, asking out loud, Joey, if they cut him, obviously he's not very good. Why would we want him on this team? Well, there's a reason that he was cut, okay? Miami, they were $13 million over the salary cap, okay? You think our salary cap situation is bad? At least we are in the green, not in the red. Cutting Fuller saved $2.67 million. He was one of three cuts like we just outlined right there, and it helped him out a little bit. But they're still $5.4 million over the cap, but they were able to save around $8 million with those three cuts. Kendall Fuller just happened to be one of them. And I think that this is one of those no-brainer free agent signings, okay, for multiple reasons. One, he could help you out. Two, I just don't think he'd be that expensive, okay? He's going into he just turned 30. Okay, this is year 7 for him. He's coming off of an injury-laden season, and I know it's kind of a risk to hitch a wagon to a guy that age coming off of injuries, but I believe he's still got a lot left in the tank. I think he can be an incredible upgrade for this secondary. So let me know, comment section down below, should the Ravens sign Kendall Fuller? Give me a simple yes, simple no in the comment section down below. You've heard my thoughts. Now it's time for you guys to share me yours in the comment section. Let's give you the fill on Fuller, okay? He just turned 30 years old, February 13th. Kind of sad he got cut a day after his 30th birthday. But hey, that's just life. He's played over 7,000 snaps in his 9-year NFL career. He ended 2024 on injured reserve with a knee injury. He missed 4 games earlier in the season with a concussion. So like I said, right, he's had an up and down trajectory, especially over the last 365 days due to his injuries. But in the 13 games he was able to play last season, he played pretty well, 556 snaps, not a ton, not near his most. He had a defensive grade of 65.3, tackling grade of 79.1, and a coverage grade of 61.9. But my big number right there to focus on is that one. He only let up 1 touchdown in the entire season of the 13 games he's played. Let's take it back just one more year before that, though, because this is the player I still think is in there. This is the player I still think you could get on this team, okay? 1,021 snaps with Washington, had a defensive grade of 83.1, a tackling grade of 86.0, coverage grade of 82.8. He allowed 488 yards in 16 games played. Like I just said, guys, he is just 1 year removed from a career year. This isn't a guy who is 30 years old, who had his last great season back in 2021. Okay, this isn't a guy who's 30 years old that has had to miss significant time in each of the last 4 or 5 years because of different injuries. No, this is a guy who's 30, who dealt with some injuries last year, but still, it's just 365 days removed from having 3 PFF grades in the 80s and playing 16 games and letting up only 400 yards receiving. Make a statement for me. Like today's video if you want Kendall Fuller to be a Baltimore Raven, okay? Show Eric DeCosta, show Steve Bisciotti, show John Harbaugh, show everybody in Baltimore what you want by hitting that thumbs up button. So coming up, we got why the Ravens will sign or should sign Kendall Fuller. Okay, we're going to break it down for you guys, what I would do, why I would sign him if I was in Eric DeCosta's position. But before I do that, I got to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at Fanatics. Guys, I know you love quarter zips, and I know as the spring comes, weather gets a little bit cooler, but being up there in the Northeast, you still have your cold days. That's why these Q-zips are so perfect, okay? Because they're a nice little covering, but it doesn't get too hot, but it also, you're not cold. You're up there in Baltimore. It gets cold at sometimes even in March and even in April. It was $60. Now it is $35. If you can do the quick math, that is $25 off. So head to chatsports.com/RavensQZip to get this for $25 off. I'm going to say that again. chatsports.com/RavensQZip. Take advantage. The link to this promo is in the comments. It's also in the description of today's video. If you want to be the best, if you want to support the best, wear the best with our friends over at Fanatics. So the Ravens cornerback room as it sits right now looks a little bit like this. Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Trey White, Brandon Stephens, Arthur Maulet. Okay, let's go down the line. Let's start with Brandon Stephens. Okay, so DaCosta, in their end-of-the-year press conference with Harbaugh and EDC, said that cornerback Brandon Stephens was a great pick, and he's grown a lot. We'll have to see what happens with him. He's helped us win a lot of games. However, he said he will probably get an opportunity to test his value on the open market. Okay, so of those five, Brandon Stephens, pretty much right there from EDC himself, is to be expected to test the open market and free agency, which I don't think is a bad thing. He sucked this year. To just put it lightly, he was not a good football player. It was pretty brutal to watch him for the entirety of the 2024 NFL season. So that's Stephens. Let's talk Maulet, okay? You cut Arthur Maulet, you save $2.5 million in cap space. For a guy who just played 17 snaps this past year, to cut him, save $2.5 million, that's a no-brainer for me. Also, Trey White. EDC, John Harbaugh, they've said they've expected to, not really know what the future holds with Trey White. So of those five I just showed you, Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, those are the only two guys in this cornerback room that will pretty much 100% be on this team in 2025. So you add Kendall Fuller, and this secondary, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, it looks pretty nasty. This looks like a secondary I could get behind. You got your free safety in Kyle Hamilton. Darius Washington, he's your small bull, your strong safety, run stuffer, absolute beast. And then you look at the cornerback room and the cornerback rotation. You got Nate Wiggins on the left, Marlon Humphrey in that nickelback position, and then Kendall Fuller as that right cornerback. And that's a group I really do feel great about. Okay, I came into last season, I felt really confident about this secondary, and after about 2 games, after about 8 quarters, every ounce of confidence I had, it was over. It was gone. It was faded. This secondary needs something new. It needs something different. If Kendall Fuller is a free agent, just cut by the Miami Dolphins, I think he can be that for this team. Okay, be the teacher for me. If you're looking at that secondary of Washington, Hamilton, Humphrey, Wiggins, and Fuller, grade it for me, okay? Give me an A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section down below. So my take is, you know what? If the Ravens add Fuller and then hit cornerback or safety in the first 2 days of the draft, okay? I'm not saying it has to be round 1. I'm just saying I would like for that to be hit somewhere between round 1 through round 3. I'd feel really good about the future of this group, not only in 2025, but when you get to 2026 and beyond. Let's talk about some targets I am looking at on the draft, okay? Malachi Starks, he's the only safety I put on this group because, in my opinion, he's the only guy that kind of has a chance to fall back to you in the first round that I believe can be a game-changing, year-1 absolute beast in that safety position, okay? He might fall to you at 27. I wouldn't hold my breath. Jahdae Barron, Siobhan Revel Jr., Benjamin Morrison, 3 cornerbacks. I truly do believe that one of them, of the 3, will be there at 27. I think they can make a massive difference in year 1, develop into starting cornerbacks in this league, years 2, 3, and beyond. And then Maxwell Hairston, if you don't go cornerback or safety in round 1 or round 2, he's a guy that I think will be there. He's a guy that I think has a really high ceiling, a really good future in this National Football League. And what's interesting is you add Kendall Fuller to this group, in replace of Brandon Stephens in my mind. And I think we forget how great this season ended for the secondary. And then all you got to do is just add in Kendall Fuller to a team who the last 5 weeks of the season ranked pretty much best in the National Football League defensively. Then I think it could be just that extra bump that this defense might need. Okay? Because you're probably losing White. You're probably losing Stephens. You might cut Mollett. You have your core still together of Wiggins, of Hamilton, of Washington, of Humphrey. Those are the guys you want. So you got to just add some subsequent after that, okay? I think Kendall Fuller can be that. I think Kendall Fuller should be that, okay? We're going to do a real one roll call in the chat down below. If you are a real one, if you made it to the end of today's video, let me know by typing real one in the comment section down below. All my real ones, let me know who you are right now. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. If you guys have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, catch the latest on your Baltimore Ravens every single day right here on the Ravens Rundown.